Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's festive edition of Feeling Smarter. G'day, Tim. How are you?
I'm going very well, Aaron. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. You're looking as festive as I am. So, yeah, we haven't got the red polos, though, do we? Just to sort of get a little bit more Christmassy. But today we thought we'd take a look back at the year in review. And Tim, I guess to you, what have been some of the things as you reflect upon the year that have really stood out across the 2023 calendar year?
Yeah, look, I guess there's the obvious stuff that was announced this year. Obviously, where we had the objective of super, and then the introduction of Div 296. But clearly, then when you add in what I would call, I guess, maybe the closing of the chapter on non-arm's length expenditure, which has been like a 5-year journey, where we've seen effectively some closure on that. Maybe it's not complete closure, but maybe that's just me being hopeful. But they're the sort of the key legislative ones. But then I think this year, and particularly 1 July, was quite an interesting one because it meant so much for different age brackets, with an increase in pension age to 67. Those born after the 1st of July 1963 turning, or the whole 59 to 60 preservation age changes. So those that had birthdays after the 1st of July have to wait till 60. They can't do it at 59. Minimum pensions going back up to normal, and of course the indexation of the transfer balance cap, just to name a sort of a few things that kept us pretty busy for the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from my point of view, the government quite clearly had in lockstep the objective of super with the proposed Division 296 changes. And I note, throughout the year, the announcements of the objective quickly followed with the announcement of the Div 296, and the consultation papers followed thereafter. And right through to the end of the year, we've seen the bills get introduced into Parliament in that way. And I guess you also raise that point of NALI and the fact that we've gone through an ongoing discussion. Hopefully we don't see 5 years in trying to get this resolved, because I do want to get it obviously kicking off at 1 July 2025. But it is naturally going to have a significant issue, has already raised a lot of conversation throughout 2023, and naturally is going to sort of be front and center as we move into 2024 as well.
Well, look, I think so. And I think for me, the key thing particularly with the Div 296, because we don't really know what else the objective is going to deliver, but the key thing for the Div 296 is that people are going to want to start strategizing sort of ASAP, and you don't want to unnecessarily implement strategies. So whilst we're not necessarily keen on the legislation as it currently stands, you're almost better off once you've got legislation that's been enacted, then you can at least act strategically with some level of comfort, because I suspect that a lot of people will be looking at the end of next year, and then certainly the following financial year to act. So the sooner we get some form of resolution on it, the better.
Yeah, and the other thing, I guess, from my side is just the impact that inflation had, and you did touch on the increase from what was 1.7 million to 1.9 million. It was a pretty profound jump. I don't think we'll see that in a hurry again in the near future. But that inflationary impact, whilst there might have been some positives in that, we then equally saw some fairly substantial shifts in interest rates that sort of followed off that. So our related party LRBAs, I think, went from 5.35 to 8.85%. So there was a bit of interest shock that happened there for many individuals. And I know we spoke about that during the year around many of those individuals looking to refinance within their SMSFs, and even some opportunities to potentially move outside of the safe harbour, where they would be able to come up with an arrangement that could be externally validated.
Yeah, and look, and I think one thing that is often not overlooked, but it's when we're talking about an increase in the interest rates and the impact that it has on LRBAs, well, with all that indexation, which was CPI linked, we didn't get any AWOTI linked indexation of the contribution caps. Now that is looking far more likely for 1 July 2024. But then if we do get another whack of CPI, then, will we see sort of another jump in the LRBA rate for next year as well? So, there's a lot for people to take on board, particularly in that related party space with self-managed super funds.
Yeah, well, we've done a number of sessions, obviously, this year, including our SMSF Day events, our regular updates, whether they be federal budgets and changing face of SMSF, and even the introduction to the master classes as well. So I think I can say for both of us, to everyone that attended a lot of these events throughout the year, a big thank you for being a part of our training. We have introduced these in the back half of this year, and they kind of sneak up pretty quickly. I think we're up to sort of 15 or so now. And again, hopefully we are seeing a lot of increased momentum, I guess, with these sort of videos and insights as well. So special thank you to everyone that has listened, not only to our training throughout the year, but also to these Feeling Smarter weekly videos as well.
Yeah, and I think like the thank you does go out to the attendees, because the stuff that we produce is largely based on the questions that we get asked and the things that we're confronted with quite regularly. So without an audience, we often don't have the material to deliver, or at least nothing beyond the standard. So it's we're very appreciative of all the feedback that we get.
Yeah, absolutely. And these topics that we've seen and spoken about today, whilst they've played a big role in 2023, many of them are also going to play a fairly significant role in 2024. And you may have seen that we've launched our SMSF Day 2024 events. Some of these topics, like the NALI, the Div 296 and so forth, are going to kind of be front and center, in particular as we work through our case studies and start to identify in more detail many of these topics. So we do have our super early bird available until the 31st of December. So you can go to our website, smartersmsf.com/SMSF Day, and take advantage of the super early bird. So Tim, thank you once again. Look forward to wrapping up the year next week with our what's ahead in 2024. But yeah, thanks again for your contribution.
No worries, and I look forward to catching up with you next week, Aaron.
Excellent. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.